Hey, welcome this evening. I'm Shauna. This is Deliver Ray. I've come to talk to you guys for a little while. Uh, hi, Donovan. How are you? How is everybody this evening? I hope you're doing good on this Wednesday. Nice and rainy here. Uh, yeah, there's some rain out in Texas too. Um, anyway, my friend group and I decided to join you guys this evening, and we're going to do a little bit of trivia tonight. I thought I might talk about some tips and tricks, life hack kind of things for managing stress and anxiety. But here, the last couple of times I've been on, I've started out with what our national celebrations for today are and the number one song in the US for the year 1975. I'm going to do the number one song first to go ahead and get that out of the way because it apparently stayed number one for quite a while. So, for at least a few weeks, and it was Love Will Keep Us Together, Captain and Tennille, is still the number one song for today in the US in 1975. It'll probably be that way for a couple of weeks, apparently. And it was the longest running, I think, for the year of 1975. I believe that's what it said. Um, well, I clicked the wrong thing. Was the number? Yes. Elton John also had three songs in the year 1975 too that made number one, and it was the most of any artist. Um, all right, so let's see what kind of things we're celebrating for today around the world. Uh, Today we have National Salt Awareness Week. So I don't know. We need to be aware of salt. Maybe if I'd have looked that up sooner, I could have done a show on benefits of salt and the necessity of salt in your diet and moderation, things like that. But I did not know that. So anyway, National Salt Awareness Day. And then we have Benjamin Harrison Day. Uh, do not know who that is. I probably should. I don't, especially since it's being celebrated. Brain Injury Awareness Day. So, if you know somebody with a brain injury, time to be aware of the downfalls and complications and just more consideration for people with that problem. Uh, Courageous Follower Day. Discover what your main name, what your name means today. That might be something I'll check out, see what it says my name means. This just says Holly or Holy, Holi. I don't know what that is. Uh, Holy Experiment Day and International Scrapbooking Industry Day. I imagine they made a lot of money off the idea of creating scrapbooks because there are so many people that do it and so many different ways to do scrapbooks, and it's fun. It's cool. Let's see. I'm going to look up the meaning of my name. Let's see. What is the meaning of the name Shauna? Let's see. Shauna is primarily a female name of Irish origin, meaning God is gracious or gift from God. My name means gift from God. All right. It is the feminine form of the Irish name Sean, which itself is derived from the Hebrew name John. I didn't know Sean and John had any kind of uh, correlation or anything. The name is also sometimes interpreted as meaning present. Hmm, that's pretty cool. I am not Irish. I found out not too long ago that my mother's side of the family, anyway, is of Scottish descent. So, um, but it is an Irish name, apparently. God is gracious or present or gift from God. Hmm, cool. So, any of you guys out there know the meaning of your names? Um, if so, tell me in the comments. Uh, I don't even see anybody in here. Are you guys? If you guys are out there, talk to me. Say hello. Uh, let me know how you're doing tonight. All right. Let's see. So, anyway, let's go ahead and just get into the whole tips and tricks for managing stress. All right. Stress relievers, tips to tame your stress. Is stress making you angry or grouchy? Stress relievers can help bring you back to calm and peace in your life. That's what the top of this thing, when you just type it into Google, that's the first thing it says. It says, get active. So I'm assuming exercise, hobbies, things like that. Eat a healthy diet. We all know a healthy diet is very important, but some of us don't really care too much for healthy food. Some of us are just junk food junkies. Some of us can't afford all the wonderful healthy stuff. There's all kinds of reasons people don't eat a healthy diet, but it's very important. Yeah, all of us that I know, my family and friends have a soda addiction. And like our host has just shown us her can of soda. I have my own caffeine addiction. I think that's a pretty common one in America. Not very good for us, but they're very tasty. And we tend to not like it when we don't have our sodas. Um, avoid unhealthy habits. This doesn't really elaborate on what they mean by that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw in my own little idea. Unhealthy habits would be not taking care of your health and smoking and, uh, doing bad things like that. Uh, laugh more. So go to a comedy show, tell a joke, hang out with somebody funny, get on here and talk to us and have fun and be silly. Uh, connect with others. So maintaining friendships and relationships is a good idea. Assert yourself. That one would probably be a little bit tricky because, like, you could assert yourself a little too much if you're not careful. And some people don't know how to use tact and things like that. But I guess not being a human doormat is what they're implying because that can be kind of stressful to be a people pleaser. Um, let's see. I have a list here of 10 stress busters. We're going to see if that gives us a little more insight than just what Mr. Google said. Um, the most unhelpful thing you can do, according to this website, is to drink and smoke. Uh, it's not helpful to cope by drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes and things like that. So that's kind of a no brainer, but some people don't realize they think they feel better because they're drinking alcohol or whatever, and it doesn't make you feel better. Temporarily makes you a little dull headed, but it doesn't improve your situation at all, and it doesn't improve your mental state either. Let's see, not taking control of your situation and doing nothing can make your problems worse. So just letting people run all over you and do whatever they want and not taking control of the things that you're responsible for and you can control can make you way more stressed out than you need to be. Doing nothing, just kind of being a audience member to your life instead of the active star of the show. It can get stressful if you just let everything chaos happen around you and don't try to do something proactive, constructive. Uh, some keys to building good stress management are to build your emotional strength, uh, gain control of your situation. I mean, of course, there's always things outside of our control. And, in my opinion, we really don't have control. We have to kind of give it all to God. Um, but either way, and giving it to God, I think, is the most important thing you can do as far as gaining control over your life, because God knows what He's doing, and He don't need our help. You know what I mean? But having a good social network, so having a good support system, a good group of friends, people, family you can talk to about things that are stressing you, or batting things around, talking, sounding board kind of thing. That really is a good way to help build some good stress management. And adopting a positive outlook is another thing. Because, if you have a negative attitude, um, of course, things around you are going to be negative, feel negative. You're going to get stressed and grouchy and stuff. Your attitude is like your outlook is everything. It's all about perspective. You got to find positive things to focus on. What can I do? What positive steps can I take to better whatever is stressing you out? Things like that. You got to look more positively at life. It's very hard to do for some people, like people dealing with depression and things. Believe me, I completely understand. I deal with depression myself, but trying to speak more positively to yourself, speak more positively about yourself. What you tell your brain, what you feed your brain, that's what it believes. So if you tell yourself, I can't, I'm no good, or I'm not good enough, or whatever negative thoughts you might have, then of course you're going to believe them. So you need to start telling yourself good things about yourself. I can accomplish this. I can fix this, or I can. Uh, I don't know. Just I can. Kind of like the little engine that could story we heard when we were kids. Like little kids. Um, I think I can, because what you tell yourself is what your brain is going to believe, and you got to believe in yourself. I mean, that's kind of important, because at the end of the day, you're who you've got. As far as physical people in this world, you can depend on you, and so you got to be good to yourself. Treat yourself right. Talk to yourself right. My mother always taught me something that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find on the internet. I'm not even sure where she learned it. But my mom used to tell me, if you cannot do anything about it in 5 minutes, then let it go. Put it aside. That if you cannot improve your situation in 5 minutes, if you can't come up with a solution in the next 5 minutes, then there is no point in stressing yourself out about it. Just set it aside and deal with it a little bit later when you've had more time to think. I've also read that a good night's sleep, sometimes if you have a problem or a decision to make, sleeping on it will help you to make a better choice. It kind of gives your brain time to reboot and kind of assess it and give you a better outlook or perspective on it. A good night's sleep. I've always heard that. But, if you can't fix it in 5 minutes, then you do not need to I can't talk. Stress yourself out about it. I'm bad about that. I overthink and I worry about everything to excess. I saw lightning out in the sky out there. And it looks like you guys are getting some pretty good rain. I think it's kind of calmed down here. But anyway, so it's not worth sitting there for hours and hours, going in circles and worrying about whatever it is that's stressing you out. You gotta refocus your attention to something else and kind of just let it go to the wayside. Pray about it. Talk to God. He knows what you need. Just express to God what you're needing to express, and trust that He's going to fix it. I mean, if you can't, you're not going to be able to. And God's in control anyway. That's my opinion. But anyway, on this list here, these are 10 stress busting suggestions. And the first one, of course, is to be active. It says that again. Uh, Exercise is great for depression. Exercise is great for your physical well being. It's great to help you with sleep. We learned that on the last show when we were talking about things to help you get a better night's rest. So, uh, that exercise is just all around good for you. It's good for cardiovascular health as well as your mental health. So, exercise, any kind of exercise, go for a walk, go swimming, uh, play with the dog out in the yard, play with the kids, go try to ride a cow, you know, something, anything. Just get out there and be active and sit there like a bump on a log. You're going to feel like a bump on a log. Uh, this list kind of seems like the same uh, thing, of course, like the take control. Uh, Taking control, it says, if you think you can't do anything about your problem, your stress is going to get worse. That's where if you think you can't solve it, all right, I can't solve it right now. Set it aside. Let's worry about something else. Uh, it's one of the main causes of stress and lack of well being is the feeling like you can't control it. It's empowering to try to take control of what you can control and see, hey, I can handle this. Because believe me, you can handle a lot more in your life than you realize you can. Connecting with people, like we were talking about a minute ago, a good support network, extremely important. Um, it's really great if you can and you believe in that sort of thing to go to therapy. That's a good thing to do. Having a good network of friends, family, even work associates, just people that can be supportive and understanding and kind of there for you when you're feeling at your lowest can really help you with your stress. Uh, Doing activities with your friends can help relieve your stress. Uh, Having some me time is another thing on this list. Let's see. It's a mental health self help guide or something. Having me time. Many of us work long hours and we don't get to spend enough time doing things that we enjoy. That is absolutely true. I don't work because I'm disabled, but I find myself in the rut of getting up and going for appointments and gotta go get this done, get shopping done, book appointments, go to appointments. Just all kinds of people to deal with. It's stressful if you don't take some time to do something you want to do, enjoy doing that helps you relax. Um, it's important to take time for socializing and relaxation or exercise or both. Um, to me, going swimming is a very relaxing exercise. I mean, I know you do physical things, but it's kind of a mental relaxation and more or less. Probably setting aside a couple of nights a week just to do something you enjoy. If you enjoy, for instance, playing chess, aside, a couple of days a week where you spend a little bit of time playing chess online or whatever. Or if you enjoy reading, set aside a little bit of time each evening to read a book, say 30 minutes a night. Most of us doom scroll on our phones for 30 minutes a night. So, I mean, you can make the time to do something you enjoy. Color. We like to get those adult coloring books, and uh, coloring is a relaxation type thing. And you create something really pretty, especially with those intricate designs they have in a lot of these grown-up coloring books. But coloring is a really good way to relax. Just I like to do wood burning crafts. Like I said, watch a TV show or TV series with your loved one or your friend, or if you enjoy going out and shooting a game of pool or something, just something to decompress and get your mind off the hustle and bustle of work or financial worries or, family stressors. Just do something you enjoy. That's a big thing. Challenging yourself. Mm. So, challenging yourself and setting up goals can help to manage your stress, uh, such as learning a new language or a new sport. Those things can help build confidence, and confidence is a good stress buster because the more confident you feel to take on your problems in your life and your stressors and stuff, the the less stress you're going to be about it because it's going to be handled. Um, all right. This one also says something about avoiding unhealthy habits. Um, let's see. Don't rely on alcohol, smoking, or caffeine as a way to cope. We already talked about that. It might provide a temporary feeling of relief, but it's not going to solve your problems. Um, it's just best to tackle the causes of your stress. If you have something in your life that is absolutely unnecessary and it stresses you out every day, eliminate that problem. If you've got one too many plants to take care of and you just can't keep up, give one of your plants to somebody. Or if you've got, too many side projects going on, delegate some tasks amongst people that are working with you, or, just things like that. Anyway, helping other people. That's another way to help you cope with stress. Evidence shows that when you help others through activities such as volunteering or community work, often you become more resilient. Uh, Try to do someone a favor if you don't have time to go out and volunteer at a community center or whatever. If you don't have time to go out and do stuff like that, just do a small favor for somebody. um, it could be as small as helping an elderly person cross the road, or get a coffee for a friend at work, or just doing nice things for people gives you a good feeling anyway. Um, and it feels like you're doing something good. So you've accomplished something. And so that I can see how that would be really good at helping manage stress. Uh, Work smarter and not harder. Mm, all right. Prioritize your work, concentrate on the task that'll make a difference. Um, Things like that. Leave the least important task for last, except that you will not have time for everything. I'm sure that when you wake up in the day and you're feeling ambitious and you've got a mile long list of things to do, you're just gung ho and ready to get it all done. But, then you get disappointed in yourself because you didn't complete your list or whatever. Well, it's going to stress you out a lot less if you start to realize, hey, I want to do all these things and I'm going to do the best I can, but if I can't, I can't. Sometimes you just got to accept they're not going to finish them all, but it's, you know, you got to accept that there's going to be limitations because you only got 24 hours. Um, you might physically be able to do the movements and motions, but sometimes you just run out of day, and that's when you put it over to the next day or something. Let's see. Trying to be more positive. We talked about that. Look for the positives in life and gratitude. Always be grateful. Gratitude. It's very important to be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for the situation. Sometimes being grateful for the things you don't have. That's important too, because you could have been in a bad place or a bad relationship or whatever, and you can be grateful because you're not in that situation anymore. Be grateful. Like, some people can't have fresh fruit at home, and be grateful that you have apples and bananas and or whatever. Just being grateful for the little things really does help build a more positive mindset. Be grateful for your family. Be grateful for the gifts God's given you. Be grateful for God. Like, just gratitude that you're breathing, that you woke up this morning. there's a lot of people that might not, so be grateful you can see or hear, or, just be grateful for even the smallest things, because, there's someone out there, I guarantee you, there's someone out there that cannot do something that you're able to do, or don't have something that you do have or are blessed with, or whatever. It can always be, uh, always something to be grateful for. Always. Let's see. Accept that you can't change things. That's something that's good to help with your stress. Um, Changing a difficult situation, it's not always possible. Uh, Trying to concentrate on the things that you do have control over, that's a must. You can't sit there and run yourself ragged worrying about the things you can't change or you can't fix. Focus on the things that you can accomplish those. Because just like when we were talking about the cleaning and household tips and tricks or whatever, um, what you can do, and I don't know. I had a point with that, but I lost my train of thought when I saw that pretty lightning out there. I keep seeing the lightning, and it's like, ooh, pretty. No, but you take control over it when you accomplish those little things. It builds momentum. Sometimes, if you see that you can fix the X amount of things, you feel a lot better about yourself than if you just sit there and worry about the one thing you can't do. You could be doing 20 things that you can accomplish. Don't focus on that one thing you can't. Uh, let's see. It's just always better to try to do what you can and accept that maybe you can't sometimes. But you always got to believe in yourself that you can do anything, because all things are possible with God, for one thing. And all things are wait. Anything's possible. You never know. Here we go. Let's try this one. Oh, I like this idea. This is kind of more on the lines of what I was looking for. Those things, all those things I named over, they're great. But I was looking more for actions that you could uh, do. This is called Seven Anxiety Hacks: How to Manage Stress and Worry in the Moment. This is important for people with anxiety, and things like that, because sometimes those anxiety attacks are very overpowering. You honestly believe that you might be dying or something. And I went to the hospital with anxiety attacks and found out it was anxiety. It wasn't like a real, physical heart attack or whatever. It was just, I was that stressed out, that scared. Um, the first thing on this list is diaphragmatic breathing. I'm not sure if I said that right, but breathing from your diaphragm. All right. How to use it. How to use it. Okay. Close your eyes and pull as much air as you can into your lungs. Uh, taking enough air so that your belly actually pokes out. Hold your breath for a couple of beats. I've been told counting to 4 or up to 7. Now hold your breath in. Then let it out as slowly as you can. And try to breathe out as much air as you can by tightening your abdominal muscles. Uh, it works because the slower that you exhale, the more you engage the parasympathetic nervous system. That's a big word, which is responsible for calming the body after it's had a fright or a shock. Um, you can't be scared and calm at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So focusing on lengthening your exhale is the best way to get the most out of it. The long exhale is what tells your body that everything is okay. I know that this breathing exercise is used in the military to calm down soldiers in combat. It's also used in clinical settings, like if you go to therapy or counseling or whatever, It's a breathing technique to help you calm yourself, and it really does work. I've tried it. There's several different ways that I've seen it done, uh, as far as the holding in and the breathing out count and things like that. But breathing is a really good. That breathing exercise is great. Um, Simple stretches. What are they? Let's see. Releasing tension with movements uh, that you can do almost anywhere. Let's see. You can gently press down the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and your jaw will often open and relax on its own. Uh, Tilt your head forward and roll it around slowly on your neck clockwise, and then do it counterclockwise. Raise your eyebrows up and down a few times. Uh, Shrug your shoulders, um, like you're saying, I don't know. Leave them up as high as you can for a few seconds before you let them fall. And why these little exercises work is because people carry so much tension in their jaw and in their neck and shoulders. You just don't realize how much you do. Um, if you can relax your body, then you can relax your mind. So, stretching exercises, those little things work. Use your words. That's number three. So, describing strong feelings verbally, you ask yourself questions that force the analytical side of your brain to work. Like, what emotion am I feeling right now? Is it anger, fear, uh, regret, rage? Why am I feeling this way? Is it because something's already happened, or is it something I'm afraid might happen? So basically, I really take an inside perspective inventory type deal of what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. Sometimes, if you can identify the feeling and analyze it, like what caused me to feel this way, sometimes it'll go away. Um, and it works because studies on post traumatic stress disorder show that some people take longer than usual to experience or perceive threat has diminished. Um, but when they're asked to label or describe their emotions, it engages the prefrontal cortex in your brain and helps calm you down. Oh, that's just a stick, not a snake, kind of thing. So, like at first glance, you might see a stick on the ground and think it's a snake and start freaking out. But if you pay attention and you take a better look, you're going to say, oh, it's just a snake, a stick, not a snake. So, using your words, making your brain focus, that helps calm you down. Um, Guided imagery. Hmm. Use your imagination to induce feelings of well being and safety. Uh, it says to think of a person, place, or thing that brings you joy or comfort. Picture it in your mind in as much detail as possible. If it's the ocean, picture it, smell the smell of salt water, sound of the seagulls. If it's a symphony, admire the beautiful grain of the wood or the violin, just different things like that. And take 5 slow cleansing breaths. And with each one, imagine yourself inhaling peace and comfort and exhaling fear and worry. My mother was really good at this. When she would get stressed out or anxious or something, she would imagine her little ranch, and she would, just visualize herself there and do a few deep breaths and whatever. And it just helped her to feel safe. A little side note, interesting kind of tidbit. I don't know if you guys have ever read it before, but eating or chewing something when you're having an anxiety attack triggers your brain into thinking you're safe. Um, Something primal about it, from like an instinct, uh, where you usually aren't. in a crazy scenario while we're cramming food down our throat. We're usually, sitting down or whatever, or maybe walking around eating something. But anyway, we usually don't eat when it's a high stress, dangerous situation. So your brain kind of gets tricked into thinking that. Anyway, it's just something I read I thought was kind of cool. And I've tested it out a few times and it does work. Uh, Studies show that people's bodies can respond in the same way from seeing or envisioning an activity as they would if they were actually doing it. So sometimes your imagination can be the most wonderful place you can be because you can create a world where you're absolutely safe and happy and everything's wonderful. And it's okay to visit there from time to time. Uh, and it shows, it even shows in these studies that when people are envisioning their favorite activity or their safe place or whatever, when they're in this mind state, it shows that their brain activity is increased and like the pleasure sensors light up. Centers, not sensors, centers. All right. Here's another one. Sorry, I'm really thirsty tonight. Uh, Change language. Using a second language to redirect the brain. Blech. If you speak more than one language, including sign language, contact somebody you know that speaks that language as well and talk to them in the other language. And it shows that when you switch languages, a different part of your brain takes over, and that makes your brain shift focus away from the emotions that you're feeling. So, hmm, I didn't know that. I've never heard that one. Lose yourself in music. Now, that is a big one in our household. We love to get into the music and sometimes just relax, or sometimes, get some music on and get energized and get up and get things done. Music is a great therapy. Uh, let's see, it activates a certain part of your brain. If you can play music, that's good. You should play music, and that will help. Um, Playing music just gives your brain a reprieve. Uh, it gives you another place to escape, and you're not thinking about other things. Music is just a great form of therapy. You can feel different things. You can let emotions out, or let them flow, or just relax. Music can be used in so many different ways. I highly recommend music with anything. Even if you're happy, listen to music. If you're sad, listen to music. If you're crazy, listen to music. Music's great. Hmm. Make a new playlist. Creating a new music collection on your media devices. You start with your three favorite songs you want to listen to right now, and you make a whole list. And it just says music relaxes people, and it gives you access to memories and feelings that different songs can bring out. So back to that same thing. So music's a good idea. Um, yeah, there's more to it than that. I have been having some technical problems as far as being able to pull up the things I've been looking at during the day or whatever that I want to tell you guys about. I can't seem to get them accessed whenever I get on here. So I miss a lot of the good tips and tricks. But there is one more thing that I wanted to look up. It's five things during a panic attack. I don't know how to, I don't know what it's called. There's a name for it. Oh, it's a grounding technique. That's what it was. To manage a panic attack. This is what I'm going to try to kind of close up tonight with. Is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise or technique. Identify five things you can see, and four things you can touch, three things you can hear, two things you can smell, and one thing you can taste. And you do that when you're having a panic attack, and it helps break the cycle of fear in your mind by shifting focus from internal panic to your other senses and your external safe environment. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. That's what I want to leave you guys with tonight. If you suffer from anxiety, the stress gets to you too much, and you need a reset, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 that you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And that helps you to calm down. And I have seen this used many, many times in therapy and with family members. And it's a good technique. It's something because when you're panicking, your brain can't think right. And you're frantic and you can't seem to calm down. So that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, very important and very, very helpful. I highly recommend it. Um, but like I've said before in other shows, and I'll say it again tonight, anything I've told you is not in any way medical advice. I am not saying that I endorse any of this. I'm saying this is research I found on Mr. Google, different websites, the things that I have tried out. I can say whether they worked or not for me. They might not for you. This technique I'm leaving you with tonight, it's been proven. There's a lot of research on it. You can look it up and research it yourself. But in no way am I giving anyone medical advice. Anyway, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Come join me on live, and we'll chit chat about some interesting facts or trivia or life hacks or something. If you have any suggestions, anything you'd like to talk about, uh, join in the conversation, comment, let me know, say hi, let me know you're here. Join us, participate, be a part of Discover Ray, and have fun with us. And Wednesdays and Saturdays, 6 p.m. You guys have a great night. I hope everything's wonderful and y'all stay safe from the storm. And until then, have a great night. Bye, everybody.